Do you have belief? Do you believe? That's the question. Guys, he does. 100% he does. 100% he believes that there is still a title race. 100% he still believes that we're in this until the very end. And I'll tell you what, I've actually said as much, really. As we obviously are in this international break, is it just me, or does it feel like international break has been going on since, I don't know, since about a month ago? It really is boring the crap out of me. I don't even know who's played, when they've played, and what results have been. And you know what? I don't even know if Scotland have played yet, or England have played yet, or Ireland, or Wales, or Northern Ireland. I don't actually know. I don't actually care. Not really bothered, you know. But what I am bothered about is obviously is Rangers and where we're at. What I'm bothered about is what it's going to look like after we come back after the international break. And obviously the hope is that more of these players that are returning from injury will be back and fit and available for this squad. Obviously, Rabbi Matondo, Nicholas Raskin, to name but two. Now, according to a lot of the briefings and a lot of the reports that are coming out of the club, Philip Clement is using these 10 days in effect, what it really is. I know he has obviously players missing, players away on international duty, but Philippe is, according to reports, using these days to work on personal fitness targets, to really instill personal fitness programs into a lot of the players. Now, one of his big bugbears, one of his big, his big things since he's come to the club has been the lack of fitness in the squad, and the fact that he wants to get a leaner, faster, stronger, hungrier squad. And I think we've started to see that, haven't we, over the last few games? You know, there's been an improvement in fitness with a lot of the players. There's been improvement in focus. There's been improvement in tenacity, in desire to fight for the ball, in desire to get that ball back when it's been lost, and, you know, chasing it in groups and getting it back and holding it and playing it with some speed and some intensity and really playing to a higher level. And under Phillipe Clement, that has definitely been the case. And, there is, in my honest opinion, a real sense of belief within the camp now that this is not over by any stretch of the imagination. You know, yes, at this moment in time, the gap between us and them sits at some 8 points, but we have a game in hand. Now, if we win that game in hand, and I know it's an if, it comes down to 5 points. Now, you add into that as well the fact that that we play them very soon on the 30th of December, a win there, and it comes down to 2 points. And obviously, then with within a couple of games after that, you can easily see us passing them. Now, to me, there seems a genuine sense of belief within this squad, a real genuine sense that they can perform to the highest level. They can obviously, keep pace with and, even pass that lot from across the city. Like I said, the reports that are coming out of Auchenhowie is that Clement is pushing these Rangers stars extremely hard during this international break, as he continues to obviously work on transforming the fitness. That's what sources coming out of the camp have said. These individually tailored fitness programs that the players are working on during this 2-week break is designed to make them fitter, sharper, hungrier, more ready to go for an intense pre-Christmas program, which is coming up. Obviously, as I've said on previous videos, I've showed you and shared with you the fixtures that are coming up. It's an intense period. Just look at this. This is the period after the international break. Aberdeen on Sunday, the 26th of November. That game is obviously live streamed here, so come and join us for that before we travel to Limassol on the 30th, some 4 days later. Then only 4 days later, again, we travel to, or 3 days later, we play St Mirren at home. 3 days after that, we play Hearts away. 3 days after that, we play Dundee at home. Before 5 days after that, playing Betis in the Europa League. Then it's the League Cup final against Aberdeen before the St Johnstone game on the 20th. And then obviously you've got to build up towards the next big Old Firm game. So it really is a period where football is going to come thick and fast for this team, and players need to have their match sharpness. They need to have that muscle memory. They need to have that physicality and that fitness and that strength. And it seems that that Phillipe Clement is really pushing that hard and pushing them hard over this international break. Now, I know there are players away on international duty. Ryan Jack, Robbie McCrory are away. There is players away on it, and we are missing those guys, but there is a number of players still at the club, still working hard. The Goldsons, the Suitors obviously coming back. Raskin coming back, Cantwell, Lawrence, etc., all rebuilding their fitness, and that is all part of the individually tailored fitness program. But Phillipe Clement is exceptionally confident that the gap between Rangers and Celtic can be bridged. He's not giving up. He hasn't given up. That's not the type of person he is. As he said, he's a winner. He's a man who wants to win. He wants to succeed. And, he's giving this squad every opportunity to actually fight and claw this back. This idea of getting the fitness in place, and then obviously the structure and technique and identity, which we've kind of developed over the last few weeks and will continue to develop. The more time Phillipe gets to work with the squad, the better for the squad, and the better, that we can, push that lot from across the city. And, look, one thing that you kind of got to get our heads around is the fact that they've been so used to having it their own way. They've had a situation where, for too long now, they've kind of just got away with kind of accepting that, do you know what, whatever we do, it doesn't really matter, because that lot across the city, they think that, they win, they lose, they draw, it doesn't matter, because when they slip up, we slip up. That's the way it's worked over the past few few games and few sessions. Let's take last season. I know last season is an odd one. We were miles behind. That game against Motherwell, they slip up, but when we lose at Aberdeen, it's happened in the past. It was continued to happen under Gio, and it continued to happen under Michael Beale. But Clement is very driven and very focused that is not going to happen on his watch. That, when they drop points, the pressure then goes back on again, and we win and we keep that pressure on. Now, one thing that they have not been used to is having that pressure on them. They've not been used to having a team that is relentless, a team that just keeps on coming, a team that keeps on winning and doesn't, have these ridiculous slip-ups. Phillipe Clement is unbeaten in domestic games. Phillipe Clement, is a manager who does not and will not tolerate failure. You can tell that from the way he talks. You can tell that from his expectations that he has of this squad. And it's my firm belief that, that once we get, let's be optimistic now. Once we get this gap back down to 5 points, the pressure is on. The pressure is so far on that team. And it's not a great Celtic team. It's not the relentless Celtic team that what it was under Ange Postecoglou. Brendan Rodgers, yes, is a good manager. I'm going to admit that, and that hurts me to say that. But he is not Ange Postecoglou, and that team was relentless. You've seen the success that Ange has had down south of the border with Tottenham, with an average Tottenham team. That team was a relentless team. This current team is not. Now, if you add into that as well, they're going to lose Kyogo and O in January, and possibly Maeda and Hatate as well in January to the Asian Cup. So they're going to lose out some of their key players. So again, there's opportunities where they're going to drop points there. And yes, we may lose Sima during the African Cup of Nations, and even possible, hopefully, we'll lose Cyril Dessers during the African Cup of Nations as well. I'd love him to go and play for Nigeria. I'd be happy to, have a word with the Nigeria coach and hope that it happens. But again, it will give us a chance to, again, ratchet up that pressure. And it's something they're not used to. They haven't had that pressure of a real chaser, a real person coming after them, a real team coming after them, sorry. It's easier to be the hunter than the hunted. It's easier to be the one going after someone than constantly looking over your shoulder and worrying what they're going to be doing. And that is something that Celtic have not had for a number of seasons now. And I am confident they will have, for the rest of this season, a relentless Rangers team that will keep coming after them and not take their foot off the pedal as we've done in previous seasons. And I'm really confident that Phillipe Clement can get that into that, and the work that he's doing to improve the fitness will benefit this team. Well, let's finish off by talking about someone who ultimately splits. That's the word. Splits Rangers fans' opinions. That's Lawrence Shankland. Now, reports in the media suggest that in January there could be a straight-out old firm battle for the services of Lawrence Shankland. Now, this will obviously test Shankland, who apparently is a very strong, big Rangers fan. Would he even entertain the thought of joining that lot across the city? Would he even entertain the thoughts of wearing green and white? Well, I think the problem is it's always been money talks. Personally, I wouldn't join Celtic even if they offered. If I was a top class footballer, which I'm not, but if I was, and Rangers offered me £30,000 a week and Celtic offered me £90,000 a week, I would still rather play for Rangers. I would never lower myself to play for that lot across the city. So that's just me, though, isn't it? And the end of the day, footballer is a very short career. Footballer, they have to get what they can, in the short career they have. Now, according to the report, apparently Lawrence Shankland scored the other day for Scotland. I didn't even know Scotland were playing. And he's had a pretty decent season. He is a very good footballer, and there is a thought that he could be a Chris Boyd type player for Rangers. Boydie was always someone who scored in the Prem in the SPL, never great in Europe, but would guarantee you 20, 25 goals a season in the SPL. And it's felt that Shankland could be that player. Now I know Shankland plays for Hearts. I know he's not used to dealing with a low block, but he is a clever footballer. He is a good footballer. He is certainly someone who can, fight and can adapt and can certainly use his skill and his ability to get round low blocks, can help teams succeed, and I think will score goals wherever he is. Shankland is a proven goal scorer, and we've got to kind of get away from this snobbery that there is a little bit towards Scottish players. I think at times as a fan base and perhaps as a club as well, we have this kind of thoughts that we shouldn't be signing Scottish players. And yes, there's always a Rangers supplement. We know that there's always a Rangers tax on every transfer fee. But look, sometimes you got to pay the money. If you don't pay the money, you don't win. It's that thing. If you don't buy a ticket, you ain't going to win the lottery, are you? If you don't put the bet on, you're not going to win it. And sometimes we do need to look at it that way. Now, yes, there are priorities in January. Yes, we need wingers. Yes, we need central defenders and probably a left back as well. But left back possibly could wait till the summer. Shankland would be someone I think would come in, instantly hit the ground running, and would be a better backup for Danilo than Dessers, Roof, who is always injured, and Sam Lammers, who can also play up top. I honestly think that Lawrence Shankland could be someone who could come in and give a bit of an extra kick at the end of the season and perhaps get us 10 to 15 goals towards the end of the season and really take this team on to the next level and perhaps get that Scottish Cup victory, get that, overhaul that lot at the top, and at least deliver a domestic treble, which we away fantastic. Forget the Europa League for a minute. Yes, it would be great if we did well in that, and I think Phillipe Clement has got a drive to do well in that. He loves European nights. He said that, but I honestly would like to see Shankland in a Rangers shirt. I think he would be a good player. I think he'd be a quality player. And let's face it, if they're interested, we cannot lose out to them. Look, they got Luis Palma. We had that ridiculous Michael Beale. We weren't interested in the player. Look, I know he's a Celtic player, but he's a bloody good player, and he's done really well since he's come to Scotland. And he would have been the perfect player that we needed. Width. We need width. He's a wide player. He's been phenomenal for them. He has done really well for them. He would be a player that I would have loved to have seen wearing wearing this shirt here and turning out for us. He is a quality player. I think Michael Beale was absolutely ridiculously stupid saying what he did and completely ignoring the talents of Luis Palma. But then, let's face it, Michael Beale was a ridiculously bad manager. And I think he's certainly someone who shouldn't be a manager again. A coach, yes. An assistant, yes. A manager, no. Certainly not for me. Oh, guys, let me know what you think of what we've talked about this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you picked up the video. Please continue to hit that sub button, help the channel to keep on growing as we aim to get to 4K subs by the new year. It'd be great if we could hit 4K before December the 31st. So please hit that sub. 65% of the people who watch this channel don't subscribe, guys. So come on, hit that sub. Really helps out. And always two things on the way out, guys, I really want from you. Number one is to always hit the like. And number two, please always remember something for me. We are the people.